So the best way to understand lambdas is by actually coding. All right, so I went ahead and created a new project. I called it Intro to Lambdas. And now I'm inside of my main entry point here. So let's go ahead and create an interface class, a very simple one. Nonetheless, I'm going to call this at the bottom here. I'm going to say interface. And I'm going to call, let's say, drawable. Okay, this is just an interface. Let's get rid of this, which will have, of course, a public void draw method. Of course, it won't have a body because the whole idea of having an interface is that it's so that the classes that are implementing those interfaces can actually implement the methods as well. Now, the way we would do to instantiate our drawable would say drawable, right, inside of our main here. I'm going to say drawable is equal to new drawable as such. Okay, and the moment you put enter, we then have here this override method, which means we have to implement it. Okay, let's go ahead and finalize by putting a semicolon there. Okay, now inside of here, to see out like this, we can say drawing. If we save this and go ahead and give it a run, we won't see anything because we have to actually call our drawable as such. So drawable dot and invoke the draw. Save and run. We should see to our right here, it says drawing. Okay, very good. Now, you notice here right away, because our IDE is smart enough, if you hover over, you notice that this is actually grayed out. What this means, if you hover over, says anonymous new drawable can be replaced with Lambda. Right? Even our IDE is telling us about Lambda. So we're going to use Lambda expression here. How do you do that? Well, simply what you can do is, let's go ahead and comment all out so we can do the right way, the Lambda way, I should say. We're going to go and say drawable. Okay. I'll call drawable as such. I'm going to say is equal to Lambda expression to the left here is going to be the parameters, but since we don't have parameters, we can just go ahead and put empty parentheses like that, and then we're going to put our arrow operator, and then what we're going to do and put our braces like that. We're going to finalize our statement, and inside here we can just go ahead and say s out as such, and we can say drawing just like that. And of course I'm going to say drawable dot draw. Look at that. Using Lambda, we got rid of almost, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got rid of 5 lines of code. And even then, you notice here, if you hover over, it says statement Lambda can be replaced with expression Lambda again. This just means we don't even need, in this case, to have that, our braces, to have our curly braces there. Why? Because we only have one expression, so we could literally just go like this, and this will totally work. Look at that. We just used one line of code now instead of all these lines of code that we had before. This is the power of Lambda, using Lambda expressions. Okay, now our code is more concise, and now we know that to our left here we have our parameters, but since we're not passing any parameters, we are just going to put empty parentheses and our arrow operator, and then system out drawing. And then we say drawable.draw, and then we run. Okay, so if we save this and run again, we will see drawing in our console here to the right. Also, you can see to the left here we have this Lambda that is showing here. If you hover over, it says overrides method in drawable, which means telling us that it's overriding already this draw here. It's overriding this draw method. Okay. And of course it says, because we are talking about simplification of code here, this public also could be taken out, and this would still work, because this infers that if you don't put public, that means this is public anyway. Just look at the simplicity of our code. And the beauty also, if we, for instance, had, let's put here, say int, say width is equal to 10, right? We just have this variable at the top here. We can even add it inside of our system out, inside of our Lambda, by saying, for instance, plus width and such, right? So there's a lot of things you can do. Save and run again. We'll see drawing 10. Okay? But the focus here is to see how lambdas are used to simplify our code and make things more concise. All right? Okay, so what I want you to do is to create another interface of any type you want, and then I want you to go ahead and instantiate that interface like we did here. You're going to be able to override one of the methods that you created inside of your drawable interface, or in your interface in this case, whatever you decide to do. And then once you've done that and run the app, and after that, I want you to do this, just like what we did here, to simplify using Lambda expressions. All right? Perfect. I'll see you in the next video.